Have you ever accidentally flashed someone? I live in Bangalore in a 1 BHK rented flat. And I usually get my drinking water from my security guard. One fine Saturday, I was sleeping till late and heard the doorbell but ignored it. I was too lazy and sleepy. But then remembered that I asked for drinking water to my guard last evening when coming from office, and he told me that he will be able to get it tomorrow morning. He even knocked on the door many times. Then it suddenly struck me that it could be the security guard. I woke up and went ahead and opened the door just after coming out of bed without thinking anything. I was wearing shorts and white tank top. He saw me with eyes wide open with a surprising look. I was too sleepy to care about it. After some time, when I went in the washroom and saw myself, I realized that my clothes were too revealing. Was not wearing anything beneath my top. Took it off before sleep. Stopped asking for water early in the morning from then on. I think I was 14. I'd already gone through puberty, and it wasn't like there was nothing to see. I went to Waterworld, a water park with lots of water slide type attractions, with my family one day, and I was really excited to go on all the rides. I was wearing a bikini which I thought fit pretty well. Anyways, there was this one ride in the water park that was meant to feel like you were surfing. Cool. I'd never been surfing because I live in Colorado, and there aren't very many oceans around. The idea of the ride was that water would shoot out and around a little crest, meant to be a wave. Everyone who fell off the surfboard thing would get stuck at the tail end of that wave, with high pressure water shooting straight at them. Guess who fell off? Me. Guess whose bikini slipped off on one side? Me. But guess who also didn't notice for a second because she was too busy worrying about getting the water out of her eyes. So yeah, I accidentally flashed some people. It was a busy day at the water park. I just pulled my bikini back over as soon as I realized and prayed that nobody had seen. So that sucked. But I'm pretty sure that a couple guys noticed, because when I was walking around a bit later in the day, I swear they were talking about me as I walked past. And not knowing them, what else could they be talking about other than my accidentally flashing everyone? I don't know. I was probably just being paranoid. I always wear shorts under my sweatpants when I work out, well, almost always. There was a class at the East Bank Club in Chicago I would go to early Saturday mornings. It was just various intense exercises using a stepper. I don't know what happened this particular morning, so I was in this packed class of maybe 60 people, men and women, and I was first row, front and center. As we started the workout, about 15 minutes into it, I started to get hot and I took off my sweats as I was doing the movements so I would keep up. Bending and jumping and kicking, I was into my exercise and was just following along. I was facing windows which showed the outside world and didn't pay any attention, and then a silence came into the room. I looked around and all eyes were on me. I stopped and mentally came into the moment, trying to register what was going on. Then I felt this breeze between my legs and looked down. I had forgotten to put my workout shorts underneath my sweats. So I had been bouncing up and down, bending over for 30-60 seconds with my naked, bottom half of my body showing to the 60-some odd men and women in the exercise room. I was mortified. But I didn't bat an eye. I simply grabbed my sweats, put them back on and said, "Nothing to see here, let's move along," and continued with the rest of the exercise. Yes, the hotel room cleaning staff once saw me naked. I was staying in a hotel during my office trip. I went for breakfast without taking bath, and when I came back, by mistake put the note "Clean my room" instead of "Do not disturb" outside the door. I went to take bath and came out, and since I was alone in my room I was fully naked. I was standing in front of mirror applying cream. Suddenly door opened. I just turned and saw the room cleaning guy standing there. I didn't know what to do. I was shocked and froze. I was standing fully nude with my face towards him. There were no clothes near me which I could pull to cover myself. After a few seconds the guy said sorry and went out. I then put on a robe and went to open the door, called that guy and asked him why he came. Then he said he thought I had left and he came to clean the room as the note outside was hanging. I looked at the note and realized my mistake. I stayed there for 2 more days and couldn't face that guy during that time. I was in the shopping mall near me. I decided to go there and try on some clothes. I went to Big Bazaar for clothes, cause I like it from there. I reached there and took some clothes with me to the dressing room. I had taken only pajamas with me and some underwears of jockey women. Let me tell you, it was Wednesday, so very less people came. so I went in one of the dressing room, checked them. While in between, after I removed one of the pajamas, I saw that I had made up a huge mess on the table, so I decided to fold the clothes and keep them on the small table in my dressing room. While I was folding my jeans, my mobile fell and rolled outside. The stupid me was thinking, just go and get it. I thought there was no one in my room. Mind you, there are no separate changing rooms for men and women, they are all the same. I went out, picked up my mobile and turned around only to find a man staring at my naked butt. I immediately apologized and rushed in the room. Very embarrassing a lot of times. Sometimes I didn't even realize that I was flashing till my friends told me about it. So I guess there were a lot of times when no one told me and still my goods were on display. But I cringe every time I remember this one particular incident where I was caught on camera flashing accidentally. It was wedding night of one of my cousins. I was still a teenager and I was dressed to kill in a tight golden collie blouse with front buttons and sari. The blouse was very tight as it had a bra inbuilt. So I decided not to wear a bra as the blouse was already so tight. I have a photo of that day but I can't post it. It's too embarrassing. I was dressed in sari and dancing on the stage with all my cousins and friends. Like always, I was just enjoying myself, forgetting about everything and dancing non-stop. I never realized when the bottom 3 out of 5 buttons of the blouse gave up. My breasts were out in the open and bouncing as I was jumping up and down while dancing. I do remember feeling a bit relaxed for few seconds and contact of air on my skin for those few seconds, but I never cared. I was just posing for the camera, who was suddenly giving me a lot of attention, capturing my every move in HD. Suddenly, one of my cousin's sister pulled me up, slapped me and covered me. That's when I realized what was going on. I felt I should have died then and there. I once flashed my whole class my chest. I'd still been drinking my coffee when the students came in that morning, and someone hit my hand with a bag and caused me to spill coffee on my shirt. It wasn't a big deal since I had a zip-up sweater on too, so I went to the bathroom and removed my inner top. At some point during class I got hot and forgot that I wasn't wearing anything underneath the sweater, so I unzipped it all the way and kept talking about China in the 1970s. It's not usually a subject that causes students to sit up and pay attention, so I quickly became aware that they were all a little too alert. I looked down and saw that my bountiful breasts were on display in nothing but a lacy bra. Strangely enough, I didn't have time to get embarrassed because I was too worried that I'd be accused of sexual impropriety. My students were kind, and no one complained. Yesterday I kinda flashed wanted to a whole supermarket full of people. When I got out of my car I thought that one of my tires looked really low, so I bent all the way over to check it out. I really don't know how I failed to notice that my left tit had popped out of my bra and was resting a few inches above its sister. It is currently quite warm here, so I was just wearing a thin cotton top. The outline of my escaped titty was clearly visible, but I had no idea. I walked into the store and did my shopping, vaguely registering that people were avoiding eye contact with me. Finally a kind woman came up and whispered to me that one of my breasts was flying free, and I quickly corrected the problem. I'm still a little pissed at all the people who saw me and decided not to tell me. Yes, I have. I'm no stranger to embarrassment. In fact, I think we have become good friends. This took place when I was really young, like 6 years old. It was a Sunday afternoon and was really hot. In Idaho it was uncommon to have days as hot as these. Everyone was out of the house and I was all alone, no one to play Lord of the Rings with. I was playing by myself at that point. I had my hanger and was pretending to be Frodo. This got extremely boring, extremely fast. I went outside and wanted to ride my bike, but it was really hot, so I decided to take off all of my clothes and ride my Hot Wheels bicycle. There I was, riding around our upper middle class neighborhood butt naked. Now all of these people are very influential, and my mom wanted to make a good impression. I didn't think it was wrong at all. It was just a hot summer day and I had found a solution. I drove past the mayor's house with a shit-faced grin that told everyone I am the master commander, which I thought I was, due to everyone's menacing stares. When I got home I had a very long meeting with Leather Lucy, my mom's thick leather belt that would bite you with every whip. I didn't know what I did wrong. I thought I was just escaping the heat, until my family told me I had just flashed the entire neighborhood without a single ounce of regret. I was known as Flash until I moved out of that neighborhood, but my family will still call me it on occasion. Yes, it has embarrassed me since then, but I've come to live with it because I was just a little kid and had no idea what I was doing. I haven't, but the time I got accidentally flashed was one of the most surreal and uncomfortable moments of my life. I was in my early 20s and had stopped at a convenience store. I was waiting in line for the cashier and there were 4 lovely young women chattering with each other in front of me. As the line advanced, they kind of rotated so that a different woman was facing me. I couldn't help but notice that her jeans were hanging very low on her hips. I remember thinking that was pretty odd. This was before low-rise jeans became popular, and when I looked again I realized that her jeans were so low that I could see the upper border of her pubic hair. At first I thought it was her underwear, but I glanced over again and was sure it was definitely her bush. I thought, wow, that's pretty hot. But also was sure she wasn't doing it on purpose, and I really shouldn't be looking. Then I looked up and really saw her face for the first time and knew that I definitely shouldn't be looking. She and the others weren't women at all. They all looked like they were about 14, 16 at the most. I was completely mortified. I felt ashamed that I'd been ogling an underage girl, confused that I hadn't realized it earlier, and paralyzed about what to do next. She obviously wasn't doing it on purpose and would be humiliated if someone told her. I sure as hell couldn't tell her. I found myself hoping that one of her friends would notice and shield her from view, but they were still unaware. After what felt like 5 minutes of high anxiety, but was probably only 30 seconds, I put down whatever I was planning to buy and just walked out, got in my car, and drove away feeling like I might puke. I hope she or one of her friends noticed soon after that and she wasn't too embarrassed. I wish I could have helped somehow, but I couldn't think of any way to do so without making the situation even worse.